Do you guys hear the boos? Everyone is pretty upset about this. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about this huge problem that Yugioh has, and this is definitely something that needs to be addressed, I think, for the sake of the entirety Yugioh community here. If anyone plays in a competitive environment, you know how annoying it is to lose or essentially have someone basically cheat into time. But let's go ahead and talk about this and why it has so many dislikes. So anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So first off, let's go ahead and explain what the heck is going on over here. And I'll link the full video in case you guys do want to go ahead and check it out and check out why everyone's so bad. And you know what, we'll check the comments in the video as well, because I know there's so many ones that are definitely going to be funny here. But let's go ahead and actually explain what the heck is going on. So first off, this is going to be a duel between two different players, and basically time is very, very low at this point. We're talking about 10 minutes here in the duel, where one player goes ahead and the player on the right, the blue player, went ahead and made a board. He gives his opponent 10 minutes to start his turn. Okay, so that's sufficient time, but at the end of the day, sometimes people will stall for time. That's just naturally how it works in Yu-Gi-Oh! The guy ends up taking like 9 minutes for his turn to go ahead and go off, and then he basically kind of rule sharks him and says, yo, he's stalling for time, after he activates a Deshrudo, basically because he didn't actually activate his entirety of his combo fast enough. And I feel like sometimes when players say that the other player is bad because he doesn't know his combo, sometimes at a tournament environment, guys, I gotta tell you, you get nervous when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being featured or whatever. You get nervous and you really overthink your plays. But the guy took way longer than necessary to make his play. I mean, the guy ended up having Dark Ruler no more in his hand. His opponent has Appaloosa. Thinking if I want to activate it. But here's the thing. He wanted to go ahead and activate that and obviously follow up with a board. One of the cards ends up being Deshrudo, and he obviously is going to be thinking, yo, I'm at low life points, what am I going to do? You should have made your turn a lot faster. That's what you should have done, to be honest here. And I know that in a tournament environment, sometimes you really overthink your plays, but it just shows how confident people are going into these tournaments. But a lot of people are upset about this because he basically gave his opponent not enough time to go ahead and play. And the other guy on the right literally had 1 minute. All he needed to do was to pretend to look at some cards for a minute and then just say, oh, it looks like time's up, I win. That's normally what would happen in most Yu-Gi-Oh! Scenarios, if any of you guys can play. People do stall in the time. Now, I would not say the player in the blue stalled for time at all. I'm going to go ahead and kind of like fast forward it here. Just by 5 seconds. Again, if you want to watch the full video, I'll link it down below. But the guy, he does have plays. He has Mathematician, he can summon it, he can crash, and then go ahead and draw a card. He also had Edge Imp in the graveyard. He had plays, he could have potentially got Barbar and Burn. Like, there's a lot of things that he could have actually done here. It wasn't like he had 0 plays. And he's basically like, Judge, he's stalling for time, and he's like basically complaining. Okay, and this is where everyone is really upset at Mateo. But at the same time, you also have to take into consideration at the end of the day, Mateo felt like he made a board. I mean, he's got Savage Dragon, he's got Titanic, and he also has another Link monster, and of course he has Appaloosa over there. So he's basically like, dude, like this guy can't do anything. Like, why is he still playing the game? I've made my combo. Give me the handshake. And while I will agree most Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels will end up being like this, where the guy sits for like half an hour, makes his board, then he says go, it doesn't matter. You just straight up lose the game. Where I feel like the guy in the blue didn't sit there and stall and be like, oh, you activated Deshrudo, you took 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and stall out. The player in the red took all the time. Like, he literally gave his opponent pretty much at the time of summoning the Mathematician. You can see, like, you can definitely tell on his face, he's like, dude, Judge, he's stalling over here. But what I don't understand is why they decided, all right, let's just go ahead and add 3 minutes onto the clock over here. So they end up adding some time onto the clock after they talked for a while. But at the end of the day, what ended up happening is he tributed the Savage Dragon for the Kaiju, and then he also summons Block Dragon. Like, the guy wasn't out yet, and at this point, he would have already technically won because of time, but then they're just like, okay, give him 3 more minutes, and then he loses the game. And it was the player in the red that took all of the time. I just feel bad for the other guy in the blue, because he might have been trying to play utilizing that time to his advantage when his opponent took all the time. But I don't know. I also can understand technically, a lot of people are all basically trash-talking the player in the red, saying that he's the one that took up the time, it's his fault. But at the same time, when you've made a board and you know that your opponent can't do anything, your opponent is stalling for time, again, I'm not saying the player in the blue did stall for time, but I'm saying it does feel bad. And at the end of the day, you know, these guys got to go ahead and make a decision. There's so many of these rounds. If any of you guys have been to like a tournament, every single time, dude, every single time, they almost all the time, the tournaments run later than they're supposed to. And with the venue, sometimes, you know, you have deadlines to meet, and that's why they want to wrap things up. Why they didn't wrap things up earlier, like sometimes it would happen, I don't know. It's just because he was complaining more than likely. But at the end of the day, I feel like there needs to be something addressed. But speaking of things addressed, let's go ahead and check that comment section below, because I know it's going to go ahead and be wild. Speaking of it being wild, I want to know how you guys in you know, my community feel about this. What can they do to address the situation? Like, if any of you guys have played chess, you know, you have a timer. I think the main problem with like a lot of decks nowadays is they take such a long time for their combos. If you guys have seen some of the 6 Samurai combos that are like, you know, special summon infinite times, and I actually mean infinite times, you can literally Exodia in 6 Samurais with the new card, with being able to search out Gateway. You can literally draw your entire deck, and that takes a lot of time, you know, and at the same time, you are advancing your game state. But you didn't give the player in the blue the opportunity to think through his plays. I mean, the guy took literally a minute to activate Dark Ruler no more. I mean, the guy had Apollosa. What are you going to do? Just get negated and then hopefully maybe attack into Apollosa and then run into time that way? Like, you could seriously sit there and stall all day and then just be like, okay, I've lowered your Apollosa enough. Summon one monster with 100 attack this game. Like, I mean, there's a lot of bad things that can happen due to time, but again, these rounds gotta end at the end of the day. But let me know how you guys feel about it down below. But I also want to go ahead and check the comments here, because I know it's gonna be spicy. Plus, you know, 10-minute ad rev. Let's go, boys. Anyways, so humiliating display of the terrible time rules and mismatch. You know, let's go ahead and zoom up on this to make it a little bit bigger, so it's actually a little bit easier to read here. But horrible display of the terrible time rules and mismanagement of it by the judges. This guy takes over 5 minutes with his turn. It was like 10 minutes. Like, literally, that guy, as we go back over here, I mean, the guy had 10 minutes and 13 seconds. He passes it off to his opponent over there with literally, like, no time. Oh, wait, no, I think we skimmed too far. But basically, the guy had no time to go ahead and make his move. And we're talking, his move was literally 1 minute. And the other guy spent so much time. It just feels really bad, and definitely just... Again, the guy might have been caught up in the situation. He probably was thinking about so many ways to end it, but the reason why he probably took too long for Dark Ruler War, he was like, okay, yo, how can I make it game this turn? But obviously, if he activates this, he can't make it game. But anyways, let's go to the comments, because that's what I really want to go ahead and check out over here. All right, so and I agree, it's the boost well deserved. Fix the rule. Again, how would you guys fix the rule over here? Call him the rule shark. He took 2 minutes for, oh, it was 2 minutes for 1 Dark Ruler and 2 Dangers. Another 1 minute for a basic link play, but sure, the BA player was slow playing. Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and see. Don't forget Destrudo. I mean, yeah, you activated Destrudo knowing that you were going to go ahead and go into time. It's probably not the smartest thing, but at the end of the day, you got to make a board, right? Shaman Potato won a whining baby. Would have been a great match if they didn't screw up the ruling at the end. Take your loss like a man. Shameful bias from the judge. YCS I'm glad they're still digging human and cause. The time reset was twisty and despicable. Why are you still playing? I already did, but this is exactly how I feel about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, the guy was basically saying, like, well, hurry up, we've only got like a minute, because he didn't want to run into time. And again, I know exactly how he feels, because I've made boards that are so good, and my opponent ends up saying, okay, we gotta draw, and I'm like, okay, like, there was one instance where I literally looped my opponent's entire hand except for 2 cards. I activated Instant Fusion, and then I had 2 copies of the Phantom Knight's Fogblade. This is back when, you know, you could actually play the Phantom Knight engine in Orcus. And my opponent had the audacity to say, oh, well, he just sat there, and I'm like, okay, it was like 3 minutes left. I'm like, literally, I will negate both of your cards. With I have 2 of these, and I also had Crescendo instead of going for Babel, because I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I looped the rest of the cards in his hand with, was it the new Space Connector, which is the Dolphin gets rid of 1 card. I got rid of 2 other cards, and I believe he might have activated a Hand Trap, and I called by the Agreement. But basically, he only had 2 cards. I had a Crescendo and 2 Fog Blades. I'm like, you can't get over my board. It's 3 minutes. What are you doing? And, like, I'm just like, okay, whatever you summon, I negated with this, well, whatever effect that he would have done, I would have negated it with Crescendo, and then I have 2 Fog Blades. Like, what are you going to do? And he ended up just saying, like, nah, I should be winning from time. And it just feels bad, okay? But anyways, And this guy says, not amused by the ruling at the end. Nice stream, even nicer streamers, but the slow play, nah. Can we have a European YCS without garbage ruling system? I hope I never have to play an Italian player because they already have massive headache in the dueling book. Okay, I've not experienced this, but that dude, a lot of people call it now Italian. I don't know, dude. Is that really a problem? Yo, I just took 10-minute turn and thought a minute if I should activate Yugioh, but could you please stop slow playing? You take more than 5 seconds for your turn hurt. That's exactly how it feels from the other player's perspective. The fact that the guy actually shaked his hand, I probably would have been like, nah, I'm not shaking your hand after that. But discussing judge ruling, discussing cheating. I don't know if I would say cheating because he did take a long time, but I don't know if I would consider this cheating. It's an Italian YCS, an Italian player. I don't know. The judge, I mean, sometimes judges are friends with people. That's a topic for another day. But it takes him 50 seconds to decide to play Dark Ruler normal. Okay, yeah, I thought it was 50 seconds too. I don't know. He didn't even think so. Nice to see judges always giving away wins. I just don't know why they're just like, oh, dude, just go ahead and just give him some extra 3-minute extra. I don't get NGC nice time rules. I just feel like it was unfair. At the end of the day, what do we do to fix this, guys? What do we do to fix this? But that's my thoughts on it. I think that it is rough, but I could definitely understand where the red player is coming from. If you've made a board, technically the player in the blue didn't make a board turn 1, but that got wrecked by Dark Ruler. But at the same time, like when you feel like you have game and your opponent is sitting there like doing nothing, it also feels like, you know, they're stalling, even though you were the one that took up all the time. But I don't know. You guys can stand down below in the comment section below. But I'll link it down below if you guys want to watch the full hour at home. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I'm signing out. Peace.